Hello, everybody. This is Pete from PA Labs, and the what I want to talk about today is maps. Okay, the dictionary object of PureBasic, and maps have a lot of really cool features. I'm getting more and more comfortable with using them, and well, I came up with an idea today of using one that I want to point out. I've come up with a naming structure for the war game and for your battalions of infantry or regiments or batteries of artillery or whatever you want to call your units. And well, what I'm building an infrastructure for is the ability. Oops, I don't want new. Go to blah blah. You get tired of actually naming things. Okay. What I have flushed out pretty heavily here is the ability to configure your game era. So your game era being, say, the American Revolution, you would only have the colonies in England. In here, you would have the various flags of the nations involved. You also have the ability to choose what what military elements are available to the players of this time period. Okay. So you can flag them all here and control what the era actually has. And, you get to World War II or something. And, it's important to be able to control this, because, I mean, unless you want to build something fun like having armored units and aircraft carriers during the American Civil War or something kind of silly like that. But I mean, it would allow you to do that. So all of these are, oh, that should also have transport. Sorry. Why? Some of these aren't all the way fleshed out. We don't want frigate. I've changed a number of things. I mean, every time I turn around, I'm into this messing with it. You don't need barges. Okay, so you control what element types are available for building. Okay. And then when you come across and say, okay, now let's build the national units. Okay. So not all players in a era have the same elements. Okay. Even though it's available for the elements, the element is available. Take World War One. Germany never had any tanks. Okay, granted, the ones the Allied had were pretty bad, but still, the British and the French had tanks. The Allies had tanks. Germany did not. So here's where you actually control what each individual nation has available in the specific era that you want to build. And I allowed you to come out and create a name for the naming convention. Okay. So the squirrely bracket, # squirrely bracket, that's going to be the number, your first frigate, second frigate, third frigate, engineers, you want first engineers, second engineers, the 7th Cavalry, the 8th Cavalry, battery for cannons, that kind of thing. Here's where you can create a base name. So when you generate new elements, they're automatically named and numbered for you specific to that player. Okay. So here comes the next problem in this idea. It's a great idea. I like it. But now I've got to come up with some way to know what number is what player on what element type to come up with next. Okay. And in steps the map. Okay. So I created a map. The map key is player ID underscore item name. Okay. So I'm using this for everything. Okay. Farms, uh, airstrips, cities, factories, all of the elements, military elements, okay? So this way it's keyed by player, and I built two functions, is get the current number, which takes the key and looks up the key. He builds the key based on the input, returns the value, and then actually he does the lookup of the key, and that may be 0, it may be 1, it may be 5, and then kicks that answer back. And then I have a create, okay? So before they've actually saved a unit, what I'm doing is saying, get me the current value, and I'll go ahead and increment it in code, and we'll say it's the 2nd Regiment of Infantry. Cool. And then you go in and change, no, I want this to be an artillery battalion. So you change that, and then he goes and looks up the battalion, and maybe it's the 3rd, current is 3, so I'll increment it to 4 in code and say, okay, this is the 4th battery of artillery. Okay. And that way, when you hit save, what I intend to do is say create the next number, and that way it's actually only created for real in the map on the save itself. Okay, so that's how this is actually working. I'm using the player ID and whatever the name is. I'm using the string name for the element. I'm using literally farm for farms and factory for a factory. And so we can get the current values and then increment them in code, and then when they save it, actually get the right value and save that value, so the next one would be the next proper incremented number. So that's the use of maps. Another use of maps, I'm also using it for all the images that are stored to the game, so we only create one image for each individual thing. So boy, and even that's changed pretty dramatically. But anyhow, I wanted to show you this to look up a value. It's a simple find map element, give me the map, and give me a key, and he returns the value. And if he doesn't find it, the value is 0. Cool, that works great for me. And then down here, we do the find to get the current value. If that value is greater than 0, I delete that value, increment the value, and then, or I delete the key and then save a new key. That way you only have one record that's actually in the database or in the map for a player name combination. Okay. So that's how that works, and it just returns a number. That's all this needs to be. And I can feed it, 300 different keys, and it'll all work just fine. So one of the daunting things to this is, how do I keep track of all these values that are unique by player, by element? So there's like lots and lots and lots of these, and that this like solves it in, what is that, 10 lines of code, 12 lines of code? Pretty slick, I think. Anyhow, I want to say thanks for watching.